2008 Subaru Tribeca with the 3.6 H6 engine, the 6-cylinder version of the boxer engine, essentially. And today we're going to be replacing the driver's side valve cover gasket. Let's get to it. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start working on the top of the engine, get our battery out of the way, get this plate out of the way so we can access the top bolts on that valve cover. So let's go ahead and disconnect our battery terminals, which are held in by 10mm bolts. And that one, they've got this bar right here, so I'm probably gonna have to get a wrench for that one. Okay, the battery's just sitting in there. Okay. Alright, so alright, and this battery is just kind of sitting in here, so as far as removal, if the battery on your vehicle is properly installed, I probably won't be able to help you out too much more than that. Go ahead and get this battery tray out of here. I'm going to assume that the battery is going to be held in with one of those bracket bars that sit on top of the battery and just kind of hold it down. So you'll probably have to undo the two 10mm bolts that'll be on each side of the battery. That's if my guess is correct. Alright, next let's go ahead and try to get this plate out of here. So let's start by disconnecting these wires. They're held in with their little clips up top. Oh, this one's actually just broken. Okay, well, I'll just pull that out of the way. And this one looks to be in pretty good shape. Let's see if we can get you off without you breaking. Yes. Good. Nice. And then back here, we've just got little slide tabs. We just need to press this out. Or it does not care about my films at all. Alright, there it is. Good. Go ahead and stick yourself a wrench or a flathead screwdriver down in there, and you'll be able to pry that right off. Or not pry it off. You'll be able to remove it, I guess. And other than the bolts and these rubber lines, but the rubber lines go to the valve cover below, but we'll probably go ahead and just remove those so they're out of the way now. Be very careful with these rubber lines. They are definitely going to be brittle. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself a pair of pliers, and I'm going to grab the rubber hose and wiggle it as I pull it off with the other hand. See if I can't pry it up a little bit. There we go. So I can get this hose out of the way here. And there we go. And now we can work on the hose a little bit further back. This one has a clamp on it. Grab that clamp, just move it up, and grab it with our pliers, and see if we can't break that rubber hose loose. And it looks like I'm gonna have to do the same trick with a flathead screwdriver. Just put it underneath of it and slowly try to pry it up. But some of these Rubber hoses are so old, they'll just disintegrate in your hands. There we go. I'm gonna move this one out of the way as well. All right, let's go ahead and start removing the 12mm bolts for this little metal plate thingamajig right here. Start myself a new pile. And then one back here. Back in the field. Good. Is that really it for up top? I guess so. Okay, these ones down here are a bit longer, so make sure you put them back where they're supposed to go. And with that second bolt removed, go ahead and wiggle our big old metal plate out of the way. Next, we can go ahead and remove the two 10mm bolts that are holding our bar on that holds our coil packs in. Go ahead and rotate you guys around this way so you can get a better view of where we're working now. And we can get that little metal plate brace out of the way. And that'll give us access to our wires for our coil packs. And hopefully we'll be able to reach down here and just unplug these just like that. As you can see, located on the side of the connectors is our release pin. Just go ahead and press down right here and pull out. And let's see if we get that lucky with the rest of them. Subaru typically has some pretty good connectors, so we might get lucky and actually be able to take these off without anything. Nope, this one's already broken. Wonderful. Okay. Oh shit. I take back everything I said about Subaru connectors. And the one in the back came right off, so the one in the center is apparently wanting to fight us a little bit. And will I be able to win, or am I just gonna say screw it and remove this thing as is? I think I'm gonna say screw it. If it wants to stay on there so bad, I'll let it. Go ahead and switch over to a stubby 12mm. Get out of there. And our coil pack comes out with it. I guess the bolt can stay in there, so I'm just gonna let it, I guess. And down here we have two more connectors going to what I believe is the camshaft positioning sensor in the front, and this one right about the middle of the engine is the VVT solenoid that we'll be removing from underneath. Go ahead and get myself a teeny tiny pick. I'm just gonna nice and gently reach down in here and release that so we can pull our coil pack out. Pull blow the coil pack out. Let's just put these over here in order. First, second, and third. Try to get some access to the last one in the back. Pretty much all I'm going to use this tool for at this point. Push these wires down. Now I have access to this bolt, and once that's clear, use the bolt as leverage and pull that coil pack out. And hopefully, if these wires can get out of the way and my phone stopped ringing, I might eventually be able to get some work done today. Last coil pack. Alright, back from my phone call. I think what I'm actually going to do next is I'm going to come in here and try to clean some of this stuff up, because I really don't want it going inside of the engine when we remove the cover. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a can of brake clean and start spraying this stuff down. Kinds of nasty. Get all this loose stuff away, and then we'll save the rest of the can from underneath. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start removing some of these 10mm. Start removing some of the more obvious ones. And do take note that some of them are different sizes. So when installing them, just take your time in figuring out which ones go where. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and grab myself a sandwich baggie. Open this thing up and put all my bolts in here. That way I don't lose them. Are there none in the back? That's impossible. There's one in the back, okay. I might be able to get that one. I just don't know how lucky I'm gonna get with these wires being in the way. Oh, I can see it though. You know what, I'm just gonna switch over. All right, going with my gear wrench. Loosening is this way. Yeah. Come on now. There you are. All right. All right, and as far as I can tell, other than this sensor right here, which I don't think that's a 10. It is a 10. I'm gonna go ahead and just remove this while I'm here, so I don't have to worry about it, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to remove this from down below. This sensor, by the way, I believe to be the camshaft positioning sensor, but I'll be able to confirm that once I can actually put eyes on it. Go ahead and give this old girl a wiggle. Which I don't think I'm going to be able to do from up here, so let's go ahead and lift this vehicle up. Alright, with the vehicle up in the air, go ahead and remove this undercover, which appears to be held in with just absolutely one bolt. So both impressive and terrifying at the same time. It looks like it's this one right up here. So I don't know if my camera can see that. Nope. This one. We have our flathead screwdriver. We're just gonna work our way around it just a little bit at a time until we can grab it with our fingertips. Go ahead and pull that out. Oh, it looks like it's this one, and there's one more in the back. 12 millimeter. Got my pig blanket out here. Freaking J-brake out here. I move my pig blanket because this thing's gonna want to dump all this crap out. And that should hopefully give us all the room we need. And again, just like I did up top, the first thing I want to do when I get to this, because how gross it is, I'm gonna start hitting some of this stuff up with some brake clean and try to get as much of this gunk off of here as I can. So it's just covered in oil that's been leaking for who knows how long. And it's just not something that interests me. I don't want to be covered in gunk and oil. I want to work on clean cars. So I'll just take my time getting up on top of the valve cover a little bit also. And go ahead and I'm just going to use the whole can because it's worth it to me, because I like working on clean cars. Alright, with everything cleaned up slightly underneath, we can go ahead and remove our connector for our VVT solenoid. There we go. And we have this sensor right here. This is the one I was talking about that we undid up top. I'm just going to pull that out, and yeah, that is your camshaft positioning sensor. And there's your connector if you just want to unplug it, but I'm just going to remove it so it's out of the way completely. And then I feel a smart idea would be to lower the vehicle again, and then we can just pull these wires up to the top and lay them over the top of the engine. So I think I'm going to do that real quick. And we just pull these up and out of the way. Just flip them over somewhere. And with that, except for the VVT solenoid and the VVT solenoid housing that needs to be removed, other than that, the valve cover, for the most part, is completely isolated. And I don't know that the VVT solenoid and housing needs to be removed, but it does look like it would make it a little bit easier to pull this out of the way if it was. I will try not removing it first. I'm kind of blown away by how spread apart these bolts are on these valve covers, especially considering that they know they have issues with these, both the valve cover gaskets and the head gaskets. It kind of surprises me that they haven't done a new design yet, but anyway. And we just pull these up and out of the way. flip them over somewhere. I'm kind of blown away by how spread apart these bolts are on these valve covers, especially considering that they know they have issues with these, both the valve cover gaskets and the head gaskets. It kind of surprises me that they haven't done a new design yet, but anyway. All right, back underneath. My tripod is maxed out at this height, so. But from what I can tell, the only thing we have left to do is to remove these two 10mm bolts. And put these in our baggie. Go ahead and get our pig blanket ready for a little bit of oil. And we can go ahead and, with a small pry bar, gently start cracking this thing open. There's a bolt right at the corner, of course. I think this might actually have to be removed from up top. And as previously stated, there is one more 10mm bolt. It is in the very bottom rear corner of the valve cover, which was really hard to figure out considering that none of the other corners have corner bolts. These boxer engines are genuinely a terrific idea if somebody just engineered them better. We know all the problems with them. There's no reason that a talented engineer would not be able to solve them. And yet for the past 20-odd something years, we've been using the same exact engine with the same exact problems. So, I definitely shouldn't be having to remove this bolt with my fingertips because nothing else will reach. It is right up there. There is 1 inch of space between the head of this bolt and the frame of the freaking chassis. This cover's ready to come off, man. It's excited about it. It's screaming freedom! Viva la Subaru! Finally, last bolt and the cover. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get myself another can of brake clean with the nozzle or straw that they send with it. I'm going to go around the perimeter wherever the valve cover gasket sits. I'm going to try to remove as much of this debris and garbage as possible to ensure it does not go into the engine. See, somebody has come in here and put RTV all along this, which is just going to make cleanup much more of a pain. Come in here with my gasket scraper and I'm going to follow the seal line all the way around wherever this RTV is. I'm going to start scraping it off. right, time to get started on this valve cover. Now, if you look real closely, you can actually see our leak. This crack right there. That's where the oil was leaking out at, right at the bottom. We got another break right here on the side. Cover gasket is just a solid piece of plastic at this point. There's no flex to it at all. Go ahead and remove our spark plug valley seals. Best way to do this is with a pick. Put your thumb right here, dig in, and then pry it down on your thumb. I'll lift it right out. Might hurt a little bit, but just get it done with. I mean, these are just, they aren't even rubber anymore. They're just straight up pieces of plastic. All right, and for our replacement gasket, we got the Felt Pro VS 5089 to Romeo. Yeah, there it is. And just like that, this thing's ready to be reinstalled. Now I want to go over this real quick. So as you're reinstalling it, it'll be looking something like this on your engine. And for reinstallation, you may need to put a little bit of black RTV right here on these sharp corners, just for a good measure, just to give yourself a better chance of having that nice seal. But other than that, you should not be putting any RTV on these valve cover gaskets. They are not required, and if you are putting RTV on these valve cover gaskets, you have a different issue. Like if you can't get this to seal, you have a different issue and you need to figure out what the problem is. Could be that your valve cover gasket is warped, could be your head is warped. They're boxer engines, they have a bunch of very unique issues. But as far as installation, when putting your bolts down, we're going to go in a crisscross order, starting from the innermost bolt and then expanding outwards. So I'm going to start down here at the bottom, crisscross up to the top, straight down, crisscross back up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, bang, bang these two, and then this one on the end. And that's pretty much it for the pattern you need to put it down in. Other than that, we're going to go ahead, reinstall our valve cover, put everything back together in the reverse order that we removed it from, and you should be golden. If you'd like to see more videos on Subarus, go ahead and check out that one next. I made that one just for you. But other than that, if this video helped you out, leave a like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.